Hello people of YouTube, my name is Steve Gray and thank you for watching. If you're new here, please hit that subscribe button, turn on that notification bell, leave a like, and feel free to comment down below what you would like me to do for future anime and cartoon related videos. So today we are talking about The God of High School, Season 1, Episode 7. And this was kind of a nice fighting episode. We got to see a little bit of new abilities, what the Knocks are capable of, what the commissioners are capable of, and there's kind of a little bit of a drag out with the actual tournament going on. So let's just get into what I don't like, and then we'll get into what I like. So what I didn't like was you have Dawi, Mira, and Mori there, all fighting, as a team. Three of these people fighting three other people. And the issue with this is we're getting a lot of backstory on these side characters that it in both isn't useful. It's useful in the sense that it makes us feel emotions for these characters, that they have motivation to win this tournament as well. But at the same time, I feel like it didn't really need to be there because 9 out of 10 we're never going to see these characters again. So basically you got kind of the spiky-haired guy. Kind of looks like that one guy, similar hairstyle to Yu-Gi-Oh! He basically went against Mori in the first round. Mori tried to do this crazy pressure point thing, did it wrong, and basically crippled himself, which is why you see Chibi Mori as the thumbnail, because I thought it was cute and funny. And he actually ends up losing his match. So then it becomes up to Dawi, and it becomes up to Mira. Dawi is up against this guy that reminds me of Scar, like similar hairstyle to Scar from Full Metal Alchemist. Very powerful guy. We get some backstory on him. Basically, he failed the high school entrance exam like 3 times because physically he's strong, he's a decent worker, decent guy, always has an optimistic attitude. Basically one of those keep trying until you die guys, which I love that attitude to have. I wish I completely had that myself, but can't be like that every day, unfortunately. And basically we get a nice little backstory about him. People were making fun of him. These other 2 team members were trying to help him out throughout the process. But he inevitably ended up losing to Dawi, obviously because he had to, because they're not going to make the main characters lose, to my knowledge anyway. But who knows, it might happen. We got a long way to go in this tournament, so we'll definitely have to wait and see what happens. And then the final match was kind of nice, a little bit different. Instead of fist versus fist, it was sword versus sword. And Mira obviously ended up having to win as well. We get a little backstory about this red-headed sword fighter girl. Basically, she's in these sword of fighting class the entire time, and she always ends up losing to somebody else, so she didn't want to lose. Both of them didn't want to lose, but they did end up losing. First guy had some crazy special ability where he pulled like a giant, crazy rock hammer thing out of nowhere, and then the girl almost had a Kuwabara-esque giant sword. It was like a giant glowy sword. But obviously the main characters are going to have to win. Other than that, not a lot of complaints in this episode. The fighting was really good. Choreography, art style, all perfectly fine. Got to see, obviously, Dawi do a little bit of his thing, Mira do a little bit of her thing. But at the same time, I don't feel like there was a lot of development in their fighting style. It was kind of like they were feeling out their opponent for a little bit, almost instantly realized, okay, I'm going to win, and that was basically all she wrote. Knocked them out without getting too much damage to themselves, minus Mori doing the pressure point thing, where he tried to do that to unlock more capabilities and ended up crippling himself, which was kind of hilarious. Moving on to the kind of more interesting part of the episode, is the kind of Knocks versus Commissioner part of it. So I guess the Knocks are evil, or maybe Mujin's evil. We don't really know, because Mujin seems like a pretty sketchy dude to me. He's like the head of all the commissioners. But basically, it's Commissioner Q versus these 3 Knocks people. The one guy's ability is to basically, regenerate his limbs. The one girl's ability, she has like this giant gun cross thing that shoots lasers, which I think is pretty cool. And then she has this giant eyeball muck-looking like thing. And then there's the guy who basically has like similar powers to Hawks, I guess is the best way to describe it. Kind of giant wings, use them as a shield, etc. Things along those lines. And then we get another commissioner to come in, and her ability is like, I call it the flame alligator. So you got the Commissioner Q, who's like the Joker, using all of his, cards all over the place. It was really cool to see the full capabilities of his. Basically, he's, using the scythe all around, and then he's throwing the cards on the deck. Like these giant kind of spike things, organic looking spike things are shooting out of them, obviously hurting people. And initially I was like, oh, it's all fake. But then I was like, oh, no, that guy actually got his arms cut off. So it got pretty freaking violent, let me tell you. In this episode, there was some blood, guts. Well, maybe not so much guts, but there was quite a bit of blood throughout the course of this episode. And we'll get more to that in the kind of second team up in the tournament. But basically, they kind of escape. Nobody really dies. They get away. We learn that Jin, I think one of the Jins, which I believe is Mori's grandfather, it looks like he lost an arm. And if you are familiar with shonen anime, basically what that means is they're kind of good to go. I don't know if it's going to be the same instance in this webtoon, may or may not be dead. Because he got impaled by a giant freaking sword in the previous episode. So who knows? May or may not be alive, but my guess is nothing is left of him but his arm. There is a good chance that he is still alive. Also, in case you were wondering, the announcer guy, the original one that was killed last episode, basically what happened to him was the guy that can regenerate his limbs to a certain extent or pull them back together, kind of like that one Akatsuki member, whose name I'm forgetting right now, the Hidden Waterfall Village dude. Kind of similar ability to that. Yeah, so that's basically that there. So let's go toward the tournament part of it, where we have more Nox people, or I think they're one of them. And this guy's ability is basically giant crazy shark thing, and he just beats the living crap out of his opponent. His opponent has some sort of fire ability and some sort of lightning ability. Mira is like, hey, Dowie, do not interfere. So not Dowie, Mori, don't interfere. Mixing up my names here, sorry. And then Dowie ends up interfering. Then that announcer guy is like, yeah, so you interfere anymore, basically no go. So they kept fighting. Dowie didn't interfere anymore, and basically that guy lost, and he got the crap eaten out of him like almost instantly. It was basically like full-blown shark attack. I thought he was actually dead by the amount of blood they showed. But he was alive, tried to do one final attack, and ended up losing very easily. So we just now know the full capabilities of this particular Nox member is kind of ridiculous. He's a little bit OP and a little bit angry. But unfortunately, also in this episode, we thought the announcer might get avenged. He did not get avenged because that guy basically, they got killed him, blew himself up. So the commissioners are all fine. Two of the Nox people that fought Commissioner Q are fine, but that particular dude most likely is dead because he blew himself up. That is my guess. Anyway, no preview for next episode, so not really sure what's going to happen there. But as I said, minus that one part, I generally enjoyed this episode. A lot of good fighting, a lot of good action. And some more setup for what is to come in the foreseeable future. Next episode, my guess is we are going to get some more issues with the Nox and the Commissioners fighting. We may or may not see if Mori's grandfather got captured or not, or what that whole situation is, because that's what they were thinking. And we may or may not get some more background knowledge on all of these crazy abilities, where they come from, how they come from, and why. And what is doing what, because it's kind of interesting, because Commissioner Q, like, it's dark, it's ominous, it's evil looking, but the Nox, on the other hand, it doesn't look evil. Like when they use their abilities, there's no black, creepy, crazy smoke that looks evil. So I think it's going to be one of those like flipperoonie type situations where the Nox end up being the good guys, perhaps. At least that is my kind of general thought on it, but only time will tell with that particular theory. Don't ruin it if you already read the webtoon in the comments down below. Do not ruin it for everybody else, because that would be bad and unfair to all the other people that are just watching the anime like myself. No spoilers. Unless you put spoiler as the first word, then maybe I'll allow it. But other than that, no spoilers, if you will. Also, going forward, I think what's going to happen is there's going to be more fighting. So basically, what's going to happen is we're probably going to see another round or two in the tournament. We might see more of that Nox team fighting, because we only saw that first or initial round. And I don't know if the two other members in that group are also these Nox people, because if in fact they are, then we got some problems. And by some problems, I mean, for Mori and everybody else down the road, it's going to be hard to defeat them, because as far as I know, those three don't have these crazy capabilities that we know of yet. We know all three of them did some sort of training had some sort of capability to get stronger, but we haven't seen the full front of all of their abilities yet at this point in time, so we'll just have to wait and see until next episode. So I think that's going to be all she wrote for this review. Thank you for watching. My name is Steve Gray. If you liked this video, yet again, please subscribe, like, comment down below what you would like me to do for other reviews or other anime or cartoon-related videos. And as always, have a good one.